What's up everyone, welcome back to the shop. I've never made a toolbox before. I feel like that's kind of a woodworking rite of passage. Let's make one. I have some really nice maple that I chainsaw milled a while back. It's got some really cool grain in this, so I'm hoping I can get all my parts out of it. I think I'm going to start with those end caps because those kind of set the tone as far as the design goes. I cut the boards for the ends of our toolbox. I take my pieces and I lay them out. We have that really cool grain. Now I can take my pencil, draw a triangle. I know that's the orientation I need to be, but if I put them back together, run them through my joiner together, then whenever I open them back up, I'm gonna have a perfect seam here where these two pieces mate together. We're gonna get a really good glue up. I created a template for our toolbox handles, so I'm going to take these, tape them together, put them on our board so that we can cut them out. You can download these for free on my website if you want to make your own toolbox, so I'll put a link down in the description so you can check those out. Putting some tape on top of the pattern keeps it from fraying up as we're cutting it. As far as cutting it goes, well, you could do it a couple different ways. You could use a jigsaw, or you could do what I'm going to do, which is use the bandsaw. I've had a lot of bandsaw blades break in the past. This one broke so hard that the tension wheel flew off the saw and hit the ceiling. After a little bit of drama, I was able to make our toolbox sides. So now it's time to cut out that rectangle for the handle to fit into. So what I think I'm gonna do is go over to the drill press, drill out most of that, and then I'll come back with some chisels and clean it up, make the actual rectangle shape. I got out the jigsaw to cut down some rough lumber to make the sides of our toolbox. And then I went over to the table saw and I cut those to 16 inches long. So now we have to connect these together. Well, we could do this a couple different ways. You could put them together and just pop some screws in there. You could use dowels, you could use dominoes. I think I'm gonna use box joints. I did make a dedicated video to how to do really simple box joints, so you could check that out up there. I go over the entire process. Joinery is all done, and I went ahead and glued up a panel that's going to be the bottom for our toolbox. So now we need to cut a channel on the inside faces of all of our pieces, and that's going to be so the bottom can fit into. Well, we could go over to the table saw and just run our pieces across the blade a couple times till we get a channel wide enough that the bottom fits into. But if we do that, we're going to see the entrance and the exit points on the sides of our box, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So instead, let's go over to the router table and we'll do a plunge cut. Plunge cuts are pretty easy. I set up 2 stop blocks, and that allows me to put the piece up against the one block, up against my fence. I can slowly drop down on top of the bit, go all the way across to get the other stop block, lift it up. Easy day. Before we glue this whole thing together, well, we need a handle. So I grabbed a scrap piece of maple and I trimmed it to the table saw so it fit inside those mortises. Now at this point, we could just use that handle and call it a day. But I think we can kind of jazz it up a bit. So I created a template in Illustrator. I like the looks of it. So I'm going to stick that on our blank and cut it out. Let me give a big shout out to the members of our superhero community, especially Michael Bradford, Daryl Seaman, and Alan Bandler. Really appreciate your support. If you're interested in supporting the channel, head on over to patreon.com/NewtonMakes. You can get some behind the scenes, sneak peeks, extra videos, all kinds of good stuff. And all your support there helps me to make more videos, better videos here on YouTube. I sanded the toolbox to 180 grit. It is nice and smooth. I rounded over all the edges. So now it comes down to a very important decision: to tray or not to tray. I plan to make a tray for the toolbox, but I started thinking the way I would use something like this is filled up with a bunch of stuff I need for a particular project: drills, screwdrivers, whatever else, and then take it and then go. Now the thing is I will probably fill it up with a bunch of stuff and it will go higher than what the tray is. I'll take the tray out, I'll set it to the side, and I'll end up never using the actual tray. So instead, I'm gonna skip the tray. I'm just gonna apply finish to the whole thing now. And if I ever need to add a tray, it's easy to do later. So if you wanna add a tray to your project, go for it. Heck, make 2 trays, whatever. For finish, I think I'm gonna treat this kind of like a workbench, as in less is more. You could certainly apply a polyurethane or a lacquer or something like that, but it's a little bit tougher to freshen something back up if it has that film finish. So instead, I'm gonna skip all of that, just lean into it, and just apply a wax finish. I'm just gonna buff a little bit of Brie wax into all that grain. This is gonna look so, so cool. Check that out, look how cool that looks. Oh, it looks so good. Another fun project in the books. And I will have links in the description below so you can get some downloadable templates to make the handle and the ends of the toolbox if you want to give this project a shot. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel, and until we meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome.